I am 55% of your host, Jarrett, and the other 55% is
the Bridge Dog. So we're together making 110% here today, which is
that's
fantastic.
how much we're giving to you.
That's right.
So I was thinking the other day, how funny it is that how many kids we went to school with that had or still do have, I suppose, ADHD or undiagnosed autism when we were kids. It was crazy. The amount of people that we went to school with was just insane. The amount of people that were there.
I think the key to that is the undiagnosed part too, isn't it? Really, like the numbers are so much bigger now, and in terms of the diagnosis, and people will say there's various reasons around that, but I think a lot of it's just with evolution of medical research and experiences around seeing signs and then putting a name to it as well. So I think it's a good thing for sure.
Yeah, and I think they're getting the treatment and the processes that they need to be the best that they can be, and I don't think that was around in the 90s. I think it was much, much more difficult for those kids. There definitely was learning disabilities, just they have alternative learning strategies now that they just never used to have back then.
Yeah.
Like, we used to have a kid in the art class when there was 1 meter long metal rulers. He used to go around hitting people with the metal rulers, like the flat bit, on their back when they used to insult him, and he used to call the metal ruler manners.
Yeah, I know the kid.
And he used to go, "You need manners." He used to hit people with a metal ruler.
Yeah, and that was his way of processing his emotions, I guess. And
yeah,
interesting way to go about it.
It was crazy, and the same dude, tried to stab me with the scissors when I was a kid, when I was in science, and it was just all a bit, the teacher was just like, WTF, and I was just a bit like, what am I supposed to do here? And he got sent to the red chairs, like he got a timeout, basically.
Yeah, I think it's probably a couple of things to take from that is the time, the age, like that was 90s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been probably, 90s, I reckon for sure. So perhaps a bit more lax back then. You just have to watch old Vision of any sport around the world. AFL would be one to look at. But he was a big part, though, in, what we would classify as our origin of our friendship.
100%.
That guy, inadvertently. You touched on a couple of things that he used to do with the scissors and the ruler and all that sort of stuff. And I sat there and watched, particularly with yourself, obviously, that sort of interaction happening over a period of time. And then he broke the straw that broke the camel's back. We'll run with that.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, he broke it, mate. He broke it. But,
he broke the straw.
So just a quick long story short. So Jarrett and I have been friends for, what is it now, 2026, so 35 years, 36 years, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
And way back, geez, it makes you feel old now, doesn't it? But all the way back then, that mentioned fella called you a chocolate milkshake only crunchy. And now you look back on that stuff and it's actually quite funny. And a little bit in its own way, a bit creative, because you look now and you think, was he even trying to be racist, or was he just trying to connect with you in his own way? And now, we talk about autism, it might explain things in a little bit more.
Yeah.
But, I didn't like the way he said that, and I laid a hand on him. I laid a hand on him as a result of him saying that. And
you did.
That led to
you upended him head to tail.
Yep, sure did. Which I, do looking back now. I probably wouldn't do it again, but I also wouldn't change the outcome because I've from that gained a best mate of nearly 4 decades. Yeah. So interesting way to meet someone, but quite effective as it turns out. So happy with that.
Yeah, it was super effective. And I think, we weren't ever not friends before that.
No,
And we weren't ever enemies. Like, we didn't ever say anything rude to each other, or like, I saw you at cricket a few times before that. And then you remember that, might as well, you remember Binny?
yeah,
Well, we can use people's like nicknames, right? Because no one's going to remember who these or know who these people are. We'll just say Binny. So
no, and it's a
remember
bit of a
when
shout out.
Binny,
So it's kind of a good thing, I reckon.
yeah, when Binny hit that, he was the most ridiculously fast bowler
Oh,
of his year, like
unbelievable.
for how old he was.
Oh, back then,
Like kid,
like he could have gone on. If all the stars aligned, given his natural talent, he could have gone and played for Australia, probably, man. But
easily, he would have been one of the fastest bowlers in the world, I think, at one stage. Like if he would have just kept up with it,
yeah,
and he didn't go
absolutely.
down the path that he went down. He was so fast that kids weren't even able to react
No,
because the ball was coming so fast. And then the coach, who was a dad of one of the kids that was playing, put his kid in as wicket keeper, and Benny was bowling, and he bowled so fast that the kid couldn't get his gloves up in time, or it hit the top of his glove and then hit the kid in the chin, and you could see the seam split into the guy's chin, and
yeah,
just it was just gore. Like
the
it was
sound that
so
it
much
made
blood.
too. The
Oh
sound when
my,
it hit his chin was
yeah, because it,
absolutely
it echoed
horrifying.
through his mouth. It was horrific.
Yeah, I
And
still
like
remember it, man. It was insane.
I still remember it too. Like I remember like it was yesterday because it was so traumatic. Like, watching that, I saw him miss the ball the first time, like missed a couple of balls trying to get, catch Binny's um, bowls as the wicket keeper.
Yeah,
Missed a couple, just got one or two maybe, and I think it might have been the fourth or fifth ball, and it was just he was holding his gloves like this, and it went bunk on top of his glove, and then bang,
yeah.
right
He
in the
was
top of his chin.
alligatoring the glove. He wasn't doing it the proper technique.
Nah,
We didn't get behind the ball, and it just went. Oh, it's just yeah.
yeah, that was a cracking injury. Like just
And both of them as well, like the guy who got hit, the keeper, he was really like he was his best mate as well. So he felt
yeah.
so bad afterwards. But yeah, man, it's a sporting injury that they happened, but that was one of the worst ones that I can recall for sure.
And in the end, you can't really say that it was Binny's fault, and it wasn't the other kid's fault. It was like a dint of circumstance.
Oh, it's just
You know what
sport,
I mean?
yeah. No, that stuff happens. I think it's with it probably was his fault though, the keeper. Like just in terms, like not to, no, he doesn't go out there to hurt himself, but he didn't use the right technique. But he's a kid. He wasn't coached properly, obviously, if that's the way he's going in. But
Yeah,
yeah, there's something he'll remember. But he went on to be a ripping fellow as well. He was a good guy. Yeah, he recovered and moved on. So
yeah, he's a
um,
good kid.
he was. He was a good
I
guy.
still remember them as kids though. Like I couldn't imagine them as adults now.
Yeah.
Like if I saw them walking down the street, I would be like, I have no idea who you are, dude. Like,
You'd be surprised though, because I reckon some of their mannerisms don't change. Like the way this particular unique aspect of how someone walks probably
yeah,
doesn't change. Just I don't know. I reckon you'd recognize, but you after a little while you'd be like, "Whoa, that's," and then you'd click in.
yeah. You know what's crazy to me as well? It's like the first day of school when I started at Sacreds.
Mm.
I remember like, how you always have to do those front pages in your book, like you have to do the title page.
Yeah,
You have to draw something for like science and biology, and it's like a big bludge for the first week. You always, and I remember like drawing like all these like dicky little drawings and shit. And then there was kids, and I'm like, "What's that?" And he goes, "That's a person." I'm like, "What's that on the behind them?" He's like, "That's the person's shadow." And I'm like, "You're drawing shadows? Like, who draws people's shadows? Like, that was so
attention to
much more
detail.
advanced than I was. Like, I was like, what am I even doing here? Like I was like my first impression was I can't keep up with these people. Like
Yeah.
I'm just so far behind them. But then there were other kids like, you know, when you went into year 6, you kind of saw like people hitting like pre-puberty and like kind of hitting those, you know, growth spurts and stuff like that. But then there were kids that didn't hit those growth spurts, and you were like, in year 6, I was tall. Like we were both really tall in year 6, right?
Mm.
But then you had those guys that didn't hit their growth spurts, and you're like, why are there receptions here? Dude,
Yeah.
like why are there prep kids here and like, you know, little kids that you think in like year 1 and year 2, and you're like, man, this is weird. Like it's a weird situation going on here.
Yeah, I mean, even now, like sometimes when I've got, I'll go pick up Ollie, my stepson, for those who aren't aware. I'll go pick him up from school if I'm home on an RDO or whatever it might be. And I could not tell you the age of any of the kids at all. Like,
No.
I think some are really tall and some are super short. And I've said, like, some of them nearly have beards already. Like, it's wild, man. And
Yeah.
I'll ask Ollie, you know, do you know that guy? And he's like, yeah, he's one of the, you know, he's a couple of years above me and he looks tiny, versus someone who would be tall and you would assume would be older and they're younger. It's just,
Yeah.
human nature, mate. People probably
No,
looked
it's
at us at
crazy.
that age similar ways when we were tall and thought we were younger too.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, older as well, but obviously not.
But like my kids will be like, I'll be like, how old do you think that person is? And they're like, oh, they're like 12 or they're like 14 or 15, because they're so used to being in an age range of kids that are around that age. They understand how to associate how old people are.
Yeah, I suppose.
but
Yeah, because yeah, exactly right. And
We
they're
just
saying,
can't do it.
yeah, because we don't. I think this is why you don't. Our minds now, the kids' minds are not filled up with the stresses of adult life like that we have as
No.
well. Like, so I think a lot of the stuff we used to focus on, or you know, I certainly used to focus on. It's not even that I don't care about it. I just don't even think about it anymore. Like, because you've got
Yeah.
mortgages to pay and bills to pay and all that stuff that comes along with getting older. And you know, what's important to you changes, priorities change as you get older. For sure, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy how quickly it changes as well. It's like, as soon as you get that first bill to pay, you're like, oh, now I've got bills to pay. Now it's like, you know, now I'm moving into, like my kids have started paying some of their own bills. They get a monthly bill. Obviously, it's on a direct debit, you know, because I think you should put everything on direct debits. And, you know, not being a financial guru or anything, or because I don't do the budget or the pay the bills for my family, but everything's on direct debit. So we pay like a little bit every single week to all of our bills, like so water, power, gas, all that stuff. We pay like a small amount to each of them, so that when the bill does come, it's not a bill shock.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And it just means you can sort of set and forget about it too. You don't have to worry about not paying something and then getting a reminder notice or anything like that, which I always almost forget to pay my rego as well. But it's odd though, but there's the car rego will come along. It comes in every 3 months, and we know that, or if
Yeah.
you pay for 3 months, which is what I normally do. And there'll be an odd moment, normally within 3 or 4 days of the rego running out, and I'll just have this thought in my head. Am I fucking registered? Is my car registered? And then I'll finish what I'm doing, finish driving where I'm going, and then check, and I'm about 2 or 3 days away from having to redo it. It's weird. It's like an
That's
internal
crazy.
bill clock that you just have
A
set.
3-month
Thank
clock.
God it's there.
It's probably in sync with your period.
Probably. I only have mine once every 3 months. So
I bleed out my ass every 3 months.
oh, it's so joyful. But
So what?
so joyful. Do you know what I'm looking forward to though? In a very odd way. We talked about, you know, there's you pay that
This is a
first
weird
bill and-
segue, dude.
Yeah, and hopefully no, it actually won't make any sense, but it'll at least change that that topic of that conversation in the end, which I think is very warranted. But you mentioned about paying that once you've paid that first bill, then like you're in that's going to be a thing now for the rest of your life, and just
Yeah.
that based around that one moment. I wonder if there's going to become a moment where I just start wearing tan pants and a cardigan like an old man does. Like, because that seems to be the thing. Like, when we were kids, old men wore cardigans, and
Yeah.
now old men wear cardigans. But I'm now 30 years older than I am. But those guys were also 30 years younger at one point, and they're still now wearing cardigans. So
Yeah.
I don't know. And funny, one of the an old drummer or the drummer in the old band that I used to be in when I was a butcher with him. He used to always say, "I can't wait to get old, retire, and die." Like, I don't want to do the dying part yet. We obviously all do that, but there is something to retiring, though, getting old and retiring. I don't know.
Well, didn't Lemmy always think that he was going to die young, and that's basically why he drank so much Jack Daniels?
Yeah, there's a line in one of the I'll quickly, just while we're talking, see if I can find it. I think it's just in Ace of Spades, probably their most famous song.
So he used to drink Jack Daniels and smoke Marlboros, right?
Yeah.
And just gamble like ridiculous amounts of money. You know what the funny thing about him was as well? I watched a short documentary on him. Just while you're Googling. He had so much Hitler memorabilia, like Nazi memorabilia.
Yep.
And people used to accuse him of being a Nazi and accuse him of being racist and all this stuff.
Mm.
But in reality, he always had black girlfriends, and he was not racist, not what's it when you don't like gay people?
Homophobic.
He wasn't any of that. He was just a dude. Like he was German, and he was proudly German, and he collected Nazi memorabilia, and that was just his thing.
Well, don't forget though, he played the devil's music, mate. Remember that? Whenever heavy metal is always devil's music. It's always been the case.
Well, also the crazy thing is like, you know, Ozzy was always accused of being a devil worshipper or whatever, and you know, he was a devout Christian.
Yeah, absolutely. And he got the title, the label of the Prince of Darkness, and he's now going to be knighted, and he had a state funeral and all that sort of stuff. So,
nicest dude ever.
Swings and roundabouts, but it's just the perception, isn't it? Really, like you look at, the story of him biting the bat head off. That he thought it was a rubber bat. He thought it was a fake bat.
Yeah, it's an accident.
Yeah, but
he
lived a colourful life. But obviously, it's actually funny bringing Ozzy up because it was yesterday or the day before his the 1 year anniversary of his passing already.
No way.
Yeah, like that's gone so fast. I remember it very well. We used to play a couple of his songs in our band back in the day. Some of a couple of the classics, but it's one of those things, I suppose. When people pass, they become an angel automatically, don't they? They instantly become an angel. But regardless,
it is one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah. But with just back to Lemmy, I found the line out of Ace of Spades. It's not as poignant as I thought it was, but it's he said, "You know I'm born to lose and gambling's for fools, but that's the way I like it, baby. I don't want to live forever, and don't forget the Joker."
Yeah.
So he's literally what people would look at when you think rock and roll and what the stereotype would be of that, like a bloke, a drifter walking down the street dressed in all black, guitar over his shoulder. You know, it was literally Lemmy. Like he was just an absolute gun. And without him, I know it's been mentioned by James Hetfield, who's the lead singer of Metallica, that Metallica they might not even be around if it wasn't for Lemmy. Just the influence that he had on James so much when he was young inspired him to play music. So, yeah.
Did you ever hear about what I did at the Metallica concert?
I don't think so.
When I yelled out Slipknot.
Did you?
I was drunk as a skunk, right?
Yeah.
Super drunk. And there were a couple of mates, and this is a few years ago, like a few Metallica concerts ago. And they were like, yeah, I just want to thank, all the people that have inspired us to become Metallica over the years. And everyone's like, yeah, Lemmy and Motorhead and all that stuff. And I didn't hear the part where he said inspired us. I thought that he said inspired by us.
Yeah,
And
right.
so the whole
Very
place
different
kind of
meaning.
went a little bit quiet, and I went, Slipknot. And then everyone looked at me, and I'm like, what?
Where
And
am
I'm
I?
just like, and everyone's like, oh, and then apparently the story got back to the missus, and now every time she hears Slipknot, she looks at me and goes, Slipknot. And I'm
Oh,
like,
that's
oh.
good though. That's good. You get
She
to
rips
relive
into
that
me.
memory.
Yes, every single time that, like, she'll just look at me and she'll go, because I'll give her shit about something, and then she'll just look at me and go, Slipknot. And I'm like, oh, bitch,
Well, I
you
might
got me.
on that note, then when we record next, I might wear. I've got a fair few Slipknot designs on shirts that I might be able to roll through the podcast. But
Do it.
just to remind you. But
I have the most eclectic taste in music, I reckon. I like all the metals. I like hip hop. I like pop. I like classical music. I like I've got the weirdest taste in music. Sometimes I'll just feel like listening to like just like nature sounds and shit like that, and like, you know, just for no reason.
you have to. I think you've got to have that versatility or that the variety, probably a better word. But if I'm definitely all metal would be my go-to. That's the one thing
Yeah.
I'll listen to like quite comfortably the most of. But I think I absolutely love just busting out a bit of Frank Sinatra in the car when I'm driving.
I
When I'm
love
by
Frank
myself.
Sinatra too.
Oh, it's just the best. Like music, anything that has a good meaning behind it. It's not just junk that's been mass produced and written by someone for someone.
Yeah.
Like music should always be created by the person, you know, at least written by the band or by the person. I think for sure. Outside influences around production obviously are going to be a thing for sure. But I reckon because it's such a creative art form, it's almost like getting someone to paint something for you and then you take the credit for it. I think it's if you're going to do it that way. But yeah, no, I reckon we've probably grown up together so close, and we listen to so many different styles of music, and we've influenced each other a lot over the years too. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
I still have my go-tos, which will be '90s Pearl Jam, um, and not to say they're more recent stuff's not good. Like it's all good. They're very talented and it's changed, but I'll always probably associate that more with the time as well, and what those songs
100%.
mean to me and what they make me think of.
Yeah.
As I said, I think in the first podcast we did that it's the best way to travel back to a time. If you wanted to remember something from a long, long time ago, you normally chuck
Before
some.
Bills.
Yeah, absolutely. Before bills, for sure.
Pretty
Normally spent down the beach on a Saturday or Sunday, just remembering the days when the hardest thing was trying to figure out where we were going to get money to get beer from. Those
Oh
were
my
the days.
god, those days were nuts. When we like there was most of us were unemployed and we were just getting cartons of beer, and then one of our friends was stealing cartons of cigarettes from their work,
Yep.
and
I know
then
exactly who you're talking about.
just there's not, and I don't recommend it, and please don't ever do this, but getting drunk and then going for a swim is so surreal. Like on that perfect summer day, you go out and you just swimming out, going out, and it's so surreal.
Mate,
And then one time I did it.
Sorry, you go, man.
One time I did it, and then I had my cousin was surprisingly at the beach, and I just hear Jared, and I'm like really drunk. I'm like, am I hallucinating? What is that? Jared. I'm like, what the?
How much water have I swallowed?
Yeah. And then I looked back, and it was my cousin and all her friends, and I was like, oh, okay. So I swam in, and then I was like chatting to her, and I'm like, you know what? I think she might have saved my life that day, because I reckon I might have just gone a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Because I was just so drunk.
Man, I think it was 3 or 4, probably, 3 or 4 years is probably in reality 5 or 6 years ago. But we had our work show where I'm currently working now, and we all went down to Glenelg Surf Lifesaving Club. That was like we went there for dinner and a few drinks, and then we just moved on and went from place to place. And we ended up at the Grand. I don't know what time it was exactly, but went to the Grand and had a few in there. And I just I've got a bit of a history of just ghosting. If I'm too drunk and I'm really hungry and or I just have to go, whatever it is,
Yeah.
I'll just nick off. But this night I was drunk. And then I just left the Grand, went down fully clothed to the beach. So this is a pub which is right near the beach. It's pretty much on the beach. You walk out from the bar and you're on the beach. And I just went into the water fully clothed. Swam around for I was gone for about 40 minutes apparently, and I rocked back up. Sweet talked my way past the bouncer, and I was absolutely sopping wet. Got back
You were
in.
dripping wet.
I was fully clothed, man, and I got back, and he let me in because it was late and it was really really hot. So I'd probably dried off a little bit, but and my 4 or 5 members of my work team were like, "Where the fuck have you been?" Like they were literally furious at me, like thought I'd been kidnapped or gone or whatever it was. I'm like, "What? I just went for a swim." And they're like, "You went for a swim at night, drunk, you moron. You're down by the So it doesn't change however old you get. If you're just drunk and you want to go for a swim and you're near the water, you probably will if it's a warm night.
And it's
very
really
stupid
not a
decision
good
because
idea.
it's so dark.
It is such a bad decision to make. I really, you know what? Like making mistakes when I was younger really made me think about them now, and that I'm not going to do them now.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Like I vomited. I drank a bottle and a half of Johnny Black at a wedding.
Ooh.
Did some really stupid things. Ate a huge steak dinner. Came home. The missus was like, "You're not sleeping in bed with me. You're sleeping on the couch."
Yep.
Slept on the couch. Woke up and I'd vomited, and luckily it had all come out the sides.
Yeah.
And all the back of my head was filled with fucking vomit. And
Was that when you had long hair as well, which would have been even worse?
no, it was shaved head.
Okay.
But it was in the back of my shirt and stuff. Like there was chunks of steak in the back of my shirt. And it was like, I was so sick. And from then
Apologies
on,
to everyone listening to this. That's gross. But
it
great.
is so disgusting. But at the same time, it taught me never ever sleep on your back when you've been drinking. Like, it's just, you can't do it. It's just
so
not.
dangerous. Well,
It's so dangerous.
that's what happened to Reese.
Yeah.
That was, R.I.P. mate. He was a ripper, and just super sad.
I was
Yeah.
very,
We
not
won't go
very
there.
close with Reese, but Reese and I had a very understanding relationship between the two of us. Every time we saw each other,
Yeah.
we really took time to go out and talk to each other for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Like we were like we weren't like we didn't have each other's numbers, but we saw each other around all the time. When we saw each other, we always had a really good chat. I think you did that the same with you, right?
Yeah. And his brother. Yeah.
It's just good, like, really, really. I thought he was a very nice kid. Like he's just a really nice boy. Like you never want to say bad things about the dead, but there's some people that I just wish were around. Like I think I said that the first episode, like David Bowie and those people. I don't know those people,
Yeah.
but when I go to the shops or the pub, like there's just some people that I wish were still there, and I could just be like, "Hey, haven't seen in ages. How you going?"
Yeah, and I touched a bit on in our first potty as well, and for those who are just hearing the second one now or third one now, and just bear with us as we go. It's hard to keep track of what you talk about a little bit, but just that's one thing where I'm starting to realise my mortality a little bit in a good way, and as I said before, not in a morbid way, but it's encouraging me a bit more to take the time to do things that otherwise I would have put off. Do you know what I mean? With people. So go around and see mum a bit more, and my brother's now back from Melbourne, and he's living in Adelaide now.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Which is good. So I've been able to reconnect with him a few times as well, and
that's nice.
No, it's good, and yourself too. There was a period of time where I used to put my hand up, and I used to bail on stuff all the time, and we're all guilty of it at different stages, I guess. But what I loved was though back when I did it once, that you pulled me up on it. And I think we had a little, mini 10-minute over text argument about it, and then we moved on.
Yeah.
But I probably needed that a little bit because it's starting to annoy people that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And if you hadn't said that, maybe I wouldn't have changed that sort of, that behavior.
If we weren't so close, I wouldn't be so comfortable to say it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, for sure.
Like it's one of those things that, like, if it came from someone else, it might come across more differently. But I don't think, I think we've been friends for too long that nothing's going to change. Like we're just going to be friends.
No, for sure. Yeah, like it's when, I don't know, you can always, with messages in particular, they're so hard to read the tone of. Like,
I'm the worst.
Like, I think everyone is, man. I genuinely think it is. And even with all forms of communication where it's written, where it's not speaking to someone and you can't see them or hear their voice inflections or body language. But with even with my old manager, where I'm still currently working now, but I had a previous manager who used to always, even if she was being direct or being, a little bit sort of, pulling into line in an email communication or a text, she'd always put a little smiley face emoji or something at the end of it. And if she didn't, it does. But if she didn't put that emoji in, I automatically went to, I've done something here. Like, and it could be a really nice message, like just letting you know I'm going to lunch, for example. But there's no smiley face on there, so she's upset with me and she's going for lunch because she's mad at me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's this crazy place that your brain goes to. But I think that's
it's unnatural to read. Written language is not natural.
No, definitely not.
We've been communicating verbally and through listening and talking to each other and looking at each other's faces and looking at micro expressions and expressions, and these little things really do matter.
They do. Like, it's huge. And like, when you think about it as well, I think I mentioned it either before, or I can't remember if it was on the start of even this recording, but we've got, you and me and everyone in our age bracket had the beauty of seeing the world and communicating with each other pre the technology boom.
Yeah.
Right. Which basically, there was no mobiles. There was no, like, you had to answer the landline call, for example. You never knew who that was going to be. It was either, whatever it was. But you'd always, did you ever have a pen pal or anything like that? If you were communicating with someone, you'd write them a letter or you'd speak to them either on the phone.
Through school.
Yeah. But there was no text messages. So it's only really since mobiles have been a thing, mobile phones, that's become the text messaging thing. And, I often think, just mostly when I'm bored, but my mind just always shoots off into different areas, like I'm sure lots of people do. But what's so commonplace now wasn't even a thing at all, like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And like, there was no text messaging. If you, had said to me 15 years ago that we'd be, maybe not 15, let's say 30 years ago, that we'd just be able to sit on our computer and record a video like this, you'd be like, you think that it's possible, but it's so far in the future, we might not even see it in our lifetime. And now look how crazy everything is, and just
how easy it is
now. So it makes me feel for people though a little bit who are, say, I don't know, who was born 10, 15 years before us. So people who were like 55, 60, this world must be very scary to them. Like, in terms of, they don't know, like, so easy to get scammed, for example. Like, you have to be I'm thinking of using my mum as an example. She's pretty cluey though. Like, thankfully, she's pretty on top of things, and she's got, a lot of support around, like me and my brother and my sister and all the rest of it. If she's ever suspicious about something that gets sent to her or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that don't have that support network that just get ripped off and they have no idea, or they get catfished or whatever it is, like just this feeling of being out of your depth in just how life works now. I often think about how that must feel. It brings me back a little bit to, I think in the first episode that we did, I mentioned that we had a neighbor who was complaining about our dogs and barking, and I'm not going to retract what I said because I meant what I said for the most part, but Well, since we had that podcast, because I referred to her, I can't think of the exact wording, but I think it was like, now we hate her and think she's a bitch
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And obviously, the more I thought about that after I said it, I don't actually mean that. It's like the situation's annoying and all the rest of it. But I just think about how, because she's an older lady, I don't know anything about her. She might not have anyone that she sees. She might have be completely isolated, and so these things are important to her, and that's what I think about when I think of people in that age demographic. So I guess I just want to maybe just retract on that sort of the negative statement around her. I certainly don't hate my neighbour. I wish he hadn't complained to the council, but I certainly don't hate her. But yeah, it's just
Hate's a strong word. I just think it's you're annoyed with her, and
yeah. But
you're
at the
allowed to be
same
annoyed
time,
with
dogs
people.
barking is fucking annoying too. So I kind of get it. At
Yeah,
the same time, you get a bit of a chance to think about it and reflect a bit, but. I don't know. It's a strange world we live in, man. It's a very strange world we live in, but also a beautiful one.
it is.
We have such potential and such opportunity. Right on the cusp of at the beginning of the AI age, and I think there's a lot of fear around that, but I think it's fear of the unknown, which is natural. I think we have to be mindful of it and lean into it, but also understand what it can do. And I don't have a
Yeah,
clue, to be honest, what it can do, but I'll lean into the positive aspects of it for sure and just use it to my advantage.
I'm just happy to be here. I've got 1% battery left,
Yeah.
so I think we can save this for another day, and we are going to be back. We'll be back maybe next week. We'll record another pod in a couple of days, and we'll be back. We're going to leave it on Pridgey's bitch neighbor.
Sounds good. Yeah, that's good.
I'm sorry, man.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, she might be a bitch. Who knows? She could be. I don't know.
Who knows?
I just feel like I maybe overreacted a bit. But no, let's leave it there. We'll catch up again. Thanks for listening, everyone. Hopefully you weren't too bored. But we'll look to come with new material for you soon.